Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another week of At Ping. Let's get started. First one's coming in from Alex Taco. He says, hey Ping, huge fan and longtime listener. I work at a motorsports shop and have for years and love it. I'm mostly a fun weekend rider, but have been that for my whole life, 26 years. It's really not a lot of life, buddy. Hang in there. I've owned a number of two-strokes when I was a broke kid and could find them cheap, and I ride them at work daily. My friends have always been jealous of some of the two-strokes I've had, and I love them. But I never liked them more than a good four-stroke 250F or 450. Even my older carb four-strokes, I just got a 22 YZ 250FX, and I still have buddies asking, why didn't you get a 250X? Two-strokes rule. But to me, I've just never felt as comfy on them, I guess. Am I missing the hype? What is it about two-strokes that makes people rave about them over a good modern four-stroke? I've always loved them, but when it comes down to my own bike, it's a four-stroke, and I've always felt I can predict them better. I'm not sure if this is worth asking, but maybe you know what separates the minds on this subject. You seem to have a lot of answers. Thanks, Alex. I think the biggest thing, dude, is honestly just nostalgia for a lot of people. When you grew up racing those things like I did, whether it's the smell, the sound of them, just the feel, the way they're lighter, and just the way the power character is. I think that has something to do with it. I think that because they're lighter, they're easier to control, which makes them safer. You go out and ride a 125 and they're difficult to ride, but you feel it in much more control than a 450 for sure. There's no question. Now, will your lap times be as good? Probably not, but are you trying to set lap records for some reason? I mean, there's no award for Strava having the fastest lap time, not that I know of. So I think there's a safety aspect to it, better racing. You can't argue that those bikes, because they were easier to move and lighter, and there was less weight and rotating mass, that guys could race more aggressively, whether that's cutting down or coming in and block passing. There was just a lot more they could do in a race situation. And they were harder to ride, so you made more mistakes, so there was more opportunities to pass. You know, back in those days, you'd see a guy screw up, come out of a turn, and he'd lose, 10 bike lengths, right? And now with the four strokes, they're so much easier to ride. You make a little bobble and you just twist the throttle, it pulls you right out of it. And this is probably, I don't mean this is any disrespect, but they're easier to ride. So a less technically skilled rider probably enjoys riding them more because they're easier. You can ride longer, you can have more fun, you're out there doing it, right? I think that's probably the bulk of the reasons. So if you don't like them, it's no big deal. Four strokes are awesome. I've got a four stroke and a two stroke. So that's living good right there. If you can have both, they're both fun. Like I said, I don't have one that I hate. I love them both for different reasons. And I like two strokes at certain tracks and four strokes at others. Just the way it is. Hey, thanks for the letter, man. I appreciate it. Last one. Hey, Ping, wanted to hear your thoughts on the divide between fans who like to see bar banging type racing versus those that prefer more clean racing, or as clean as it can be within reason. This debate seems to frame the opinion of riders like Barcia, Freeze, etc. Some fans apparently like to see deliberate takeouts, cross jumps, etc., and see it as a normal part of racing. I don't. What are your thoughts? And do you think the organizers give weak penalties to these riders because they're trying to cater to all the fan base, even those who want Supercross to become a demolition derby? Thanks, man. I think Bobby, is the name. I don't think there's a very large contingent of folks who want to see deliberate takeouts, T-bones, cross-jumping, dangerous type of riding, okay? But I also think we need to quit being a bunch of pussies at times, because this world has gone a little bit that direction. As the late, great Harry Hogue said in Days of Thunder, rubbing sun is racing. And motocross is a contact sport, okay? Don't know what to tell you. Go watch a hockey game if you think we're too violent, because those guys stand there and punch each other until they lose teeth and someone hits the deck. And then they give them a 2-minute timeout and they're back on the field or the ice. If you watch racing going way back, okay, this has always been a contact sport. Guys are racing for a lot of money. They got a lot of time and effort and commitment invested into this. And if it's a main event, you're going for a position or a win, man, to me, unless it is a straight T-bone, that it's not an intentional pass, it's an intentional takeout. I don't see a problem with it. What Barcia did with Anderson, that's a block pass that Anderson just didn't look up and see. It's the same thing when Mookie ran into the back of Anderson. He put his bike in the line and Anderson plowed into him, didn't see him. It's his responsibility at that point when there's someone in the line to check up and cut under him, or check up and let him go and live to fight another day. If these guys can't pick their heads up and see it and they hit them and fall down, that's on them. This isn't I don't know why this is such a debate. You know, you're going to bump, you're going to block pass. These guys are going way too fast. Everybody's going fast, kind of going back to the four-stroke thing I said. There aren't all the mistakes there used to be. These guys are riding so well that you've got to force a pass if you want to get by. And so I just think it's insane to me. This isn't tap dancing. It's not ballet. So quit being a pussy. And if it's super dirty, we're all going to know it. Okay. When something is like a guy went in to kill another guy, you're going to know it. If they're racing, they're both going for position and they make contact and somebody goes down or they both go down. Okay. You know, you're going to have your guy and maybe you're pissed that it happened, or maybe he does it to someone else and you're like, oh, it was no big deal. At the end of the day, I want to see good racing. And these guys are going fast. They're chasing a lot of money and a lot of pride on the line. They're going to go for it. And I don't know. I think sometimes we've just gotten a little bit soft, and people will say they want to see great racing, and then they see it. They're like, oh, that was dirty. Well, was it? I mean, maybe it wasn't. Maybe you just need to put your big boy pants on and realize that that's what this sport's about. It's aggressive. It's contact, period. So thanks for tuning in. See you next week.